This is Scott Becker with the Becker Private Equity and Business Podcast. Here are 15 stories that we're following today. First, Apple rebounded and rose 3.26% yesterday. It's moving in the right direction again a little bit after starting the year 5.7% off. Second, Ford Motor Company can't seem to find its footing. It lost another 2.5% yesterday. It noted that it's also moving 1,400 people off its electric vehicle motor line, its Lightning line, saying that they've got to get better on cost containment to be able to compete on electric vehicle sales. Third, Humana got absolutely hammered yesterday with higher medical loss ratios. It was down nearly 10%. It did a discussion about how, their outlook is much more cloudy because the profit in Medicare Advantage and the sign-ups for Medicare Advantage and the medical loss ratios have gone up significantly. Fourth, the markets were up yesterday. They expect to continue up today. There is a lot of questions out there about how aggressively the Fed will cut rates this year. I think people are starting to get some sense that they won't cut them as quickly as maybe they'd hoped for. Fifth, Discover Financial got hammered yesterday. Its stock fell about 10%. Sixth, great to interview brilliant CEO, Dr. Jochen Reiser of the University of Texas Medical Branch on the Becker's Healthcare Podcast. Just a brilliant, fascinating leader. Physician, scientist, brilliant. What a pleasure to speak to him. Also, seventh, thrilled to have President George Bush, along with Bill Belichick, Michael Strahan, Martha Stewart, and great CEOs speaking at the Becker's Healthcare annual meeting. That's April 8th to 11th in Chicago. Jessica Cole can provide more information on that. She's the CEO and president of Becker's Healthcare. Eighth, Tesla continues to struggle to find its footing this year. It's down nearly 10%, 15%. It's down nearly 15% year to date. It's cutting its prices in Europe and China as it tries to grow its market share again. Ninth, the McGuire Woods Healthcare Private Equity Conference is scheduled for this May. Amber Walsh, Holly Bucky with information on that. 10th, Macy's announces that it's going to slash nearly 2,400 jobs and close some stores. 11th, Citi Capital, Citigroup continues on the warpath to cut jobs. CEO Jane Fraser told a whole mass of its upper management team that they'll be doing more sweeping cuts. And so that's what's going on at Citi Capital. 12th, JP Morgan reported record profits, the highest profits ever for a bank in the banking industry this past year in 2023. Jamie Dimon may be the best leader of this generation and continues to show that. 13th, was thrilled to see the Becker Private Equity Business Podcast ranked first in the Apple Business News rankings this week. It's right up there with a bunch of Wall Street Journal podcasts, which we view as being great company. Thank you to our team for that. 14th, a special shout out to colleagues Alan Cole, Ben Feder, Elliot Moscow, who are sort of like Munger and Buffett, great partnerships of business, sports, and life, make all the difference in performance. And these are a couple that are always part of great partnerships and really have proven that they are the Munger and Buffett of their efforts in sports. In any event, the other story that we're following today is layoffs. Wayfair also announced layoffs. We have a separate podcast on great CEOs aren't constantly doing layoffs. Great CEOs are a little more careful in their hiring. Their business model is not to hire so quickly and then fire so quickly. It causes lots of internal problems, external problems, bad for people, bad on a lot of levels. So that's one of our podcasts today. Great CEOs aren't constantly doing layoffs. The great CEOs are disciplined about their hiring. It doesn't mean that they're overly so careful about their hiring, but they're pretty disciplined about it, and they don't constantly find themselves having to do big layoffs to prove their profitability to the street and their toughness to everybody else. Thank you for listening to the Becker Private Equity Business Podcast. We'll be back on today with a couple of podcasts released this weekend as well. Thank you so much for joining us, and thank you to the wonderful Chanel Bunger, the best producer we have. Thank you so much.